All right. So I've seen the whole aspect of the and I've read the entire chapter of the latest manga chapter from One Piece. 1162, that chapter. And all I can say is right now is, aside from what I have mentioned regarding Kaido apprehending Big Mom. As a matter of fact, uh, a teenager would slap from that club Big Mom get. But you know, Big Mom recover fast because she has that hard exterior of her body. Yeah, she's a body. Yeah, but what I was really saying is that um Kaido did his thing, got his devil fruit, you know. For some reason, I just love that laughing. The moment I heard Kaido start laughing, I said, man, I should be a part of the Beast Pirates. Luffy and his crew wouldn't get away from me, you know, if I was a member of the Beast Pirates, because Jack didn't do shit. Queen didn't do anything real, and King wasn't really a swordsman, right? And all he had was one sword technique, even though he's not a swordsman, and he uses devil fruit power as a backup for his ability. Not even a conqueror's haki, not even a, if he had armament haki, maybe it's just through his devil fruit. However, this chapter was really interesting because, to be honest, I don't really have much to say about it because it was just as it is, has all we've been predicting these many feats, you know. Um, we've seen Saint Garling, Figarland Garling, emphasize more on the L in that name, Figarland, Figar L and Garland, because he's a god knight that takes a lot of L's, right? Because look, he went up against, he and his crew, his gods knights, those that were with him at the time, and some of those possessed emo demons, which would got Rock's father and grandmother, right, went up against this man, OP Garling, Shank's daddy, Shamrock's daddy, right? The woman killer, the not the woman killer. What's the best place to call him? Just like in Game of Thrones, you have the Kingslayer, and you have, yeah, the woman killer, right? He went up against this dude and got off screened. Remind me of when Rox went to Marijoa and infiltrate Marijoa. Where was Garland at the time? Right? And off screen and Admiral. Then he, back in this flashback, he off screen Garland. Garland went up again. He half screen Garland again. What's with over the years when we were introduced to these God's Knights? No, I'm not putting an L on all of them and saying, oh, they're this, they're that, but they only have one thing as an advantage, is that immortality attribute that were given to them from by Emo. That's it. They have crazy devil powers. I can add to that because Gunko, Summers, his thorn fruit, dude, that's crazy, right? But in any fight, if you have somebody that's on the same level as them or a bit over the level of these God's Knights, they are gonna get a lot of L's. It's like they're the 2.0 version of the Cypher Pole division, right? These guys are nothing. No, I'm not gonna fight it out and say, oh, Shamrock is like this, because we haven't seen much of Shamrock. Shamrock only uses Devil Fruit sword attack a defenseless Loki. Right? So I don't know what Shamrock is like. Does he has that type of feat as his brother Shanks? Right? So I'm gonna leave him out of it. Gonko, on the other hand, I'm gonna leave her out of it. But Summers, Garling, these guys, the only thing they have above other people is this aspect of their immortality attribute given from Emo. And without that, they're just simple guys with weapons, devil fruit powers, and there's not much feat behind it, you know? Now, Garland took two L's from Rux in that situation. Yeah. And then we see the Kuma section where he start to these people start thanking him, praising him, and he uses the fruit power and send all of them back to his homeland where that church is. We see a lot of powerful haki, right, coming from first it was coming from Rocks when he used that. You remember the time in this remind me of it. And it remind me of the first time Ichigo is using his attack against Urahara. And Kisuke Urahara, and Kisuke said, hey, just, try to see if you can slash me or something like that. And Ichigo released that raw energy before we know it was Getsuga Tensho. That's what I saw in this. I don't think Rox used a named attack on Garland and the rest of the people, including his possessed father and grandmother. He just used a one-hit attack, like Pokemon, one-hit KO type attack, and Garland is still lying there. It's kind of like when Luffy used that animation Looney Tunes attack on Kizaru, and he never get back after that. He started reflecting on his ways of doing things and all of that. Now, further on, we see did I mention the whole Kaido Big Mom feet? Yeah, that's not important right now. But we see where all of these guys are in these different areas of the battle. We see Rox, Garp, Raja, Whitebeard, and Kaido getting his devil fruit, and Shona will say, hey bro, hey, guess what I'm doing now? It seemed like Kaido never knew nothing about this devil fruit and somehow has mastered it. Maybe not to the fullest as we see in Wano. But all of these guys are looking, and they saw Emu possessed in Saturn. Saturn possessed by Emu is a better way of saying. And that happened, and all of the guys are, all of them, pirates, marines, and, are now up against Emu and Saturn. Or did I forget to mention the goat, Bogard? People always try to off-screen this guy and say, oh, he's just this guy that doesn't talk much. But dude, Bogard is a shanks of the Marines. This guy is always been among the big wars, the big battles. Remember the time when we just saw the first flashback of God Valley, and Garp came in and Bogard was there? Bro! I always give my respect to Bogard with his one-liners and all of that. This guy has been there from the very beginning, But yeah, as I said, the manga went well and I loved it, and there's more to it. I think I should do another video on it. So far it went well, and I hope we learned something differently on it as well. Yeah, so respect.